Saleto Henderson would show up tonight.
Well, he showed up. And I think he's going to be in for a lot of body work tonight. Sandoval is an excellent body puncher, committed downstairs. If this fight ends in a knockout, I think it's going to be because a body shot does the job.
I agree, man. I think Sandoval is one of the best body punchers in the game. I mean, he dissects opponents down there. He does it responsibly with the fundamentals and the technique. Always patient is this kid.
Sandoval's super soft-spoken, but he comes into the ring and he shows tremendous heart. And he shows a lot.
I wonder how much Henderson's hair weighs. I mean, it's 102, right? If it's 2 pounds, that's like 2% of his body weight. I mean, it's a hindrance to him making weight.
It wasn't 112 pounds, Todd, because he came 5 pounds under.
Yeah. He might have come under 100 pounds with no hair, 99. Either way, he's in there tough against Sandoval, who you could hear got a very warm welcome in Southern California.
And this is the reason I expect Henderson to give Sandoval good fights, because he has a faster feet. You know, Sandoval is a little bit more flat-footed because he likes to get power when he's on the inside. Henderson's more athletic. He's more agile with those feet. He uses the entire ring, and he's quick enough with that jab to keep Sandoval honest.
And Sandoval tends to adjust to the opponents that are in front of him. And against Acosta, he had a bit of a more efficient work rate, wasn't throwing a ton of punches. Then you go against Buitrago, a guy that's coming out to knock your head off, and he threw a lot of punches in that fight. So he tends to adapt to the opponent he has in front of him.
Good body shots there by Henderson. They were blocked by Sandoval, but I still like the fact that he's throwing them down there. When you're in there with a vicious body puncher, you want to give him a taste of his own medicine.
Yeah, he's got some speed, this Henderson.
The size advantage definitely does go to Sandoval. See, overtowering Henderson. Nice jab by Nino.
It might make it a little more difficult for Sandoval to land some of those body shots, because you see Henderson dipping down a lot early.
Henderson has only fought past round 6 3 times. 7 knockouts in his 10 wins. Sandoval, on the other hand, 18 KOs for his 25 victories.
Yeah, and all those knockouts is, you know, breaking down opponents downstairs, walking them down, touching them in the body, and a volume of combinations.
Fight out, hands free, hands free. Hands free.
Coming here yesterday saying the fighter meetings that he expected Henderson to come out moving around, give him a little bit of trouble the first opening rounds.
Good shot there by Sandoval. He timed the lazy jab of Henderson. Henderson took that shot well.
Good body shot there by Sandoval, too.
And you can tell that Henderson didn't like that check, that pullback check right hand over the left jab. It's a beautiful shot when timed well. Sandoval timed it perfectly.
Left hand connected to the head there for Sandoval. But Henderson showing you he belongs here in round 1.
Mira duro, Ricardo, muy bien, te ves bien, está muy bien. ¿Y si me entiendes? Nomás hay que seguir llaveando un poquito más, la llave, pintas. La derecha arriba, así como lo estás enseñando bien bonito, sí. Pero la llave rápida la llave. Fíjate, cuando tienes ahí, suelta el uno abajo, bien cerradito nomás, bien cerradito que te queda con el gancho. No te confías de su derecha. ¿Ah? Dame el agua. Tranquilito así, muy bien. Moviendo, nunca pares de mover la cabeza y no te hace nada este cabrón. Cuando estés adentro, Ricardo, pum, abajo. Abajo no le duele, le tiraste uno y no le dolió. Lo terminaste con una derecha ahorita muy bonita, Pero tiene que ser rápido todo, Ya cuando lo tengas ya medio cansadito, entonces sí, ya, agarra la distancia. Tira los golpes a medias. Muy bien. La llave que no falte.
If you're wondering where Sandoval got the nickname El Nino, I wondered too, so I asked him about it. He said growing up, he lived in a house that had 3 different families under one roof, and everyone had daughters. So he was the only boy in the whole house, so they just call him the boy. Hey, what's up, El Nino? And it just stuck. Plus, he looks like a kid.
Yeah, that's more like it. Ooh. I'm telling you right now, Henderson better watch out, because Sandoval's on just barely missed a straight right hand. Henderson didn't even flinch. I don't think he even saw it, and he got caught earlier with the right hand. So that's a punch that you better watch out, because the thing about Sandoval, he has good technique, and it's a nice little laser right hand that you won't even see coming.
I think Henderson's using that jab, and it's very lazy, so Sandoval's timing and countering him with the right hand.
You can see that Henderson has the faster hands between the two, but Sandoval has a better timing and technique. And technique beats speed.
Mr. Personal, it says on his trunks. For Saleto Henderson, who's fighting for only the second time since a 3-year hiatus from the sport.
Mr. Personal.
Remember Mr. Perfect, the old WWF wrestler?
I do.
Heard him.
And how about, what was his move when he, the super
Perfect, the perfect plex.
There you go. Good jabs there by Henderson. And this is all because of quick feet, man. He's able to get in and out and be agile enough to not get hit with nothing back.
And that's how Henderson's going to have success, is in and out punches. He doesn't want to stay in there and trade with the bigger Sandoval.
And you can see the confidence in Henderson's face. You know, he likes the fact that he has the quicker feet, the quicker hands, and right now he's getting some good shots in, building his confidence.
Talking to the referee about something.
Clash of heads.
Headbutt. No cut. Accidental. No cut.
Good catch there, Rex. By the way, we haven't asked you what your future holds right now. When are we going to see you back in the ring?
You'll see me very shortly. You'll be seeing me soon again. And I'm excited to announce, been working very hard and big things coming.
I know a lot of people wanted to see an immediate rematch from your last fight. Is that on the cards?
We'll see. We'll see what the cards have. I have a great promotion in Golden Boy, and they always take care of me, and they always help me out, so we'll see.
That is a tremendously political answer right there.
He has a future in politics, I told him. The future mayor of Santa Ana.
The unofficial mayor of Santa Ana.
Sergio would have given it all up by now.
I know.
Its entire schedule.
I'll tell you what, right now, man, Sandoval's getting closer and closer to landing big shots. He's having a really good round, landing some good shots. But I'm even more impressed with Henderson, not shying away from it, barely making a miss, staying in the pocket, and still confident, man. This is a good matchup, good clash of styles.
Lito, relax. Relax. Be you. Be you. Just relax. Don't do all that wild shit. Just relax. Box. You don't have to rush. Hit him in the chest with the right hand. That's all I want right now. Touch him in the chest real hard and chase that with the hook to the head. But I want to start with that real hard chest shot. You know what I mean?
And this is what Sandoval's known for, the body shots, man. Once those start landing, you better be careful. But look, that was a right hook to the body. Normally it's a left hook, and it usually lands on the liver that does all the damage and puts down opponents. Henderson took that well, but he better check them ribs and keep those elbows tucked in.
Yeah, good advice, I think, in the corner of Henderson. Basically telling their fighter to relax. He's a little bit too jittery out there. Just relax, throw that jab straight to the midsection, try to get some work done that way.
I know Sergio and Chris have a little friendly wager on whether this fight goes over 6 rounds. Chris, what do you think?
Well, I like proving know-it-all people that think they know it all wrong. And I told them I think this man's going to do well into the later half of the fight.
Mr. Personal.
You took
Mr. No Personality.
You thought Baranchik was going the distance last night. What are you talking about? Like you know everything.
I know more than you, my son.
We're just talking long, guys.
The voice of reason. Alexis Rocha.
Oh, look, when I was studying Saleto Henderson, man, I liked his athleticism. I liked the fact that his only loss was by split decision. You know, he's a confident fighter when things are going his way. When he's in control, he's popping that jab, staying in the middle of the ring, staying off the ropes, he does really well. He's not letting Sandoval really plant his feet or get flat-footed or get any kind of power. If he can continue that, he'll continue having success.
Good counter right there from Sandoval. But Henderson's up for it. I wonder if Henderson overtrained. I mean, he came in at 107 pounds, 5 pounds below the limit.
You know, guys like Henderson, they don't mind being a little bit lighter because they're light on their feet. You know, it's actually beneficial.
Oh, nice right hand from Sandoval to punctuate that flurry.
Best combination of the night so far for Sandoval.
Henderson's getting a little bit too brave right now, you know, staying in front of Sandoval. He's doing good, you know, shooting his shots, moving around the ring. I don't know if it's because of conditioning or a little bit too much bravado on Henderson, but he should go back to boxing and using his feet.
And 2 good body shots there from Sandoval.
The more Henderson stays on the inside, that's going to be more of El Nino's game to dig that left hook to the body just like he did there.
Oh, big right hand from Sandoval, and it just seems to get Henderson more angry. But Sergio, he is getting a little careless this round.
He's getting careless, or I think he might be fatigued. I mean, he's been a very inactive fighter. You know, didn't fight 2022, didn't fight in 2023, only one fight since 2021. So maybe, you know, that's catching up to him and his legs are betraying him.
I love the punch selection of Sandoval here. Going downstairs, going back upstairs, really mixing things well this round.
Well, Henderson, I think, believes he can go punch for punch with Sandoval. He's not shying away.
He's not shying away, but listen, man, Sandoval does have pop, especially with that left hand. And once he starts touching the liver and going downstairs, it's going to be bad news for Mr. Personal.
Sandoval isn't the one-punch knockout artist. He's more of a break you down round by digging to the body and shooting those over right hands on the top.
Daniel Dubois defends his IBF heavyweight title against former WBO champion Joseph Parker. And it's not even the main event. That should tell you how good this card is. Next Saturday night live from Riyadh. Chris, who wins that fight?
Okay, I think it's 2 guys that have proven that losses don't really matter. Both those guys faced adversity at different times during their career. Both those guys battled back, and both those guys come into this fight with momentum. Dubois is a world champion. Parker has got some great wins on his resume. I don't know. I think it's a 50-50 fight.
Yeah. And this is what I'm talking about here, guys. Henderson's getting a little bit too brave for his own good. Once Sandoval starts touching that body and letting those combinations fly, and he starts landing 2 or 3 punches in a row, he's going to break down Henderson whether he likes it or not. But Henderson comes back nicely with a nice left hook right there, landing solidly. Sandoval took that well.
Nice sweeping shot there from our production team. We are live at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. Let's take a look at Chris Mannix's scorecard through 3 rounds.
Yeah, I've got it 3 rounds to none in favor of Sandoval. I do think Henderson had a little bit of success in that first round with some of the movement, but since then, I think Sandoval's really settled down, you know, kind of dictated the pace of this fight. And that last round was easily his best round of the fight. So 30-27, 3 rounds to none for Ricardo Sandoval.
You know, Sandoval's such a good inside fighter that, you know, he needs to discover a jab and how to break down, you know, fighters that can move, how to cut off the ring. So this is going to be a good matchmaking for Sandoval to actually, you know, unwrap a different part of his game.
You can see total punches landed in round 3. Sandoval landing 15 more than Henderson.
Yeah, but he's going to need a jab now to catch up to the more athletic and faster feet of Henderson, and breaking down a fighter like that, you're going to need a jab.
You need a jab to set him in to close the distance on the faster feet of Henderson. And Nino just can't be shooting 1 or 2 hard shots. He's got to follow by the jab and work his way to close the distance and work in the body, just like he is right now. This is where Nino wants to dig down in the body and slow down the legs of Henderson.
Oh boy, Henderson got caught right in the middle of throwing a punch.
Yeah, man, that's a dangerous lead punch to throw, as a right uppercut. Normally, you want to set that up with combinations and a jab, but when you throw that as a lead shot, I mean, you leave yourself exposed to something big.
Henderson took it pretty well.
That lead uppercut's probably the worst punch to throw on the inside, especially, you know, when you're the shorter fighter punching up.
Tank Davis is pretty good at it.
Tank Davis does it responsibly from that southpaw stance. He usually gets an angle before he throws it. And Tank is a perfect speed, combination of speed and explosive power coming from that left-handed angle.
Work inside. Stop.
Henderson now not moving around so much as he was the first 3 rounds. Kind of staying in the pocket a little bit more with Sandoval.
Yeah, he is. And either either he's getting confident and already absorbed the timing and the power of Sandoval, or, like I mentioned 2 rounds ago, maybe he's slowing down because of the inactivity and his conditioning.
Activity definitely does matter. It keeps you in the game. For those that don't know, once you're out of the ring, you can work out as much as you want, but when you're sparring and when you're fighting, that plays a ton of factor into it.
Boy, they are just grinding out the final seconds of this round. Hey, Oscar Duarte's here, and look who he's talking to, Sergio, one of the all-time greats from Central California.
4-division champion Mikey Garcia, man. Great fighter, great personality. And of course, a great team. Robert Garcia in the back right there, his brother. I mean, a team of fighters. I go way back with that team right there with Fernando Vargas, Grandpa Garcia. I mean, it's just in their blood, being great fighters, great champions.
Robert Garcia's made a big impact on the career of Oscar Duarte. Linked up with Robert after that loss to Ryan Garcia and has shown, I think, a lot of improvements since that fight. So real growth for Oscar Duarte.
So start of round number 5 in the flyweight division. Ricardo Sandoval seemingly has won every round, but Henderson doing his best not to make it easy. Sandoval said, listen, I think I'm going to have to chase this guy. He's going to get on his bike. But for the most part, Sergio, Henderson's been right there in the mix.
Henderson's on no bike. He's boxing. He's popping that jab. He's trying to control the middle of the ring. He's trying to catch Sandoval coming in. There's no running here. He's boxing.
I think Sandoval's got to figure out a way to kind of disentangle himself when he gets kind of up close. Like, I think Henderson's done a pretty good job of grabbing just like that. And Sandoval's got to find a way to stop smothering his punches in those exchanges.
And that way is a jab, you know.
Oh, counter right. Good one from Henderson. Might have been his best punch of this fight.
That's the thing, man. If you want to track down a tricky opponent, a savvy opponent that's good on his feet and upper body, you gotta double, triple up with a jab. You got to jab to the chest, to the torso, the belly.
Jab anywhere, just long as it lands and he sticks out there to break off his rhythm. Henderson just is comfortable fighting the outside, and El Nino's throwing some bombs trying to catch him, but that's not going to happen on the faster feet of Henderson.
I don't know if you guys caught that sly little angle right there that Henderson did. Sandoval tried to catch him with a body shot on an angle. He got a good pivot, got the positioning. Henderson actually moved right out of the way, and that body shot just barely missed. Just a savvy fighter is Saleto Henderson.
We haven't seen, Sergio, some of that sort of step aside, step around that Sandoval's done in some of his previous fights. You know, it's not quite Bam Rodriguez-esque, but there is a little bit of element to that in Sandoval's game. He steps off to the side, creates a new angle.
He's nowhere near Bam's feet, but yeah, he normally does get an angle, but it's hard to do that when you don't have the fast feet, and Henderson right now has the quicker feet.
Speaking of Bam, Chris, when are we going to hear a fight announcement from Rodriguez?
I think April, May is when Matchroom is targeting to bring him back, and I think a unification fight with Puma Martinez is top of the agenda.
You a Bam fan?
I'm a big Bam fan. Him being a southpaw and giving those angles, you know, I try to read up and study as much as I can. Also know Bam too from going to Robert Garcia's boxing academy. You know, tremendous guy and a hell of a fighter.
Hands free in there. Hands free. Let him go, Ricardo. Let him go.
So this round looking very similar to the prior rounds. Sandoval pushing the action and Henderson up for it.
Yeah, Henderson flat-footed, you know, moving his upper body, you know, countering, trying to get the respect of Sandoval, but he's not moving as much anymore. He's shifting his upper body nicely and avoiding the big shots of Sandoval.
Thursday, March 6th, Golden Boy Fight Night returns to the desert in Indio, California with some Golden Boy's brightest prospects on display. Gucci Manny Flores, the headliner that night, taking on Jorge Leyva. That's Thursday, March 6th on DAZN. We've had some good times at Fantasy Springs over the years.
The roulette table treats me good.
You just hurt him to the body. Yeah, no. Real hard. So now we're going to pick it up this round. we're going to show them the second round of the fight.
There you see the confidence coming from the corner of Henderson, saying that they hurt Sandoval to the body. I didn't quite see that, but I could see the confidence that they're building because he's not moving as much. Henderson's actually, planting his feet, trying to get some power, trying to get some respect, and putting power behind those body shots, and they like what they see in the corner.
Do you think that's part of the game plan leading up to the middle of the round, to staying in the pocket or keep outboxing him?
Man, listen, I think they're doing a little bit of both to confuse Sandoval. They started the first half of the fight boxing. Now in the second half of the fight, they're earning their own and standing their ground.
Now, Sergio, for Chris Mannix to win his bet with you, he needs a knockout here in round 6, doesn't Sandoval?
That's right. I love taking away money from this guy.
Let's go, Chris.
You'll forget by later tonight.
There you go.
How much did I win again?
We still got 2.5 minutes to go. Let's see if we can actually take him away.
Yeah.
I set a reminder on my phone. Ooh,
Nice uppercut as Henderson walked right into it.
and Sandoval barely missed that uppercut. That would have done damage because Henderson didn't even see it coming.
Do another timing shot right now as well that barely missed by El Nino.
You heard the referee say there was a cut caused by a head clash.
Henderson should be catching those body shots and coming back with short uppercuts. He can't just let, Sandoval start throwing those shots downstairs. They're going to get good to him, and something's bound to land with a vicious power puncher like Sandoval.
Cut on the right eyebrow of El Nino due to a clash of heads.
Looking like a matador with Sandoval right there. Sandoval telling us in our fighter interviews that he thinks that he can just bang him away on the inside. He said Henderson's only got an overhand right. That's the one punch I got to worry about.
Well, I can see what he means, but look, when you're fighting so relaxed like Henderson, other shots open up when you're being that aggressive. Sandoval's giving them opportunities to be a little bit more creative on the inside.
That's good work from Sandoval now.
Yeah, Henderson taking some deep breaths.
Good body shot by Sandoval.
I'm not liking the body language of Henderson right now. He felt those body shots right now.
You got a chance, Chris.
I think fatigue is setting in as well.
Hands free, hands free. Saleto, hands free.
A wind-up right hand from Sandoval.
Hands free, both of you.
Henderson is not throwing arm punches.
Henderson's giving Sandoval all the opportunities on the inside now.
Oh, he said, boy, a dangerous decision there for Mr. Personal.
Yeah, the spring on his feet is not there. The bounce on his toes is not there. Now he's flat-footed, and it looks like he's just getting tired from the pressure and the body shots of Sandoval.
10 seconds, stop with the bell. 10 seconds. Time!
Looks like Sergio won this bet.
He's busted. He's busted. Keep that right hand. Keep that right hand going. But look, send it underneath. Underneath. This is the second half of the fight. Seven. We need these rounds.
Yeah.
You gotta start picking it up to the body.
Okay.
Real hard to the body shot. But listen, don't do nothing stupid. And don't keep getting hit to the body without rolling and coming right back. Come underneath. It's a short shot.
Head, body, head. Underneath, over the top of that right.
You my man.
Come on, both of you. Let's stop the punching. I want you to knock through the head. You understand me? Nobody's getting short. Let's do that. Okay, let's do it.
You heard the advice from Saleto Henderson's corner. Don't do nothing stupid. That was a quote. And Sergio, he's in a position where he's got to do something a little out of character to get back into this fight, doesn't he?
Well, he does, but, if he doesn't have his feet under him and he's getting a little bit more flat-footed and fatigued, that's only going to fall into the hands of Sandoval. The way Henderson wins is the way he started boxing the early rounds. You know, he has to be moving, he has to be picking and pecking, and not standing in front of Sandoval. So unless Henderson gets a second win and starts boxing like he's doing here, popping that jab and going down to the body of Sandoval, you know, that's how he's going to have success.
There's also kind of contradictory advice in the corner where they're telling him he needs to win these rounds. He's got to start letting his hands go, but also don't do anything stupid. I mean, at some point you got to either go for broke or not in a situation like this.
What was that acronym that Tiger Woods had? KISS? Keep it simple, stupid.
Yes.
There you go. That's what we have to do. Good advice.
Well, let's see how Chris Mannix's stupid scorecard looks.
Not so stupid right now, Todd. Pretty easy fight to score at this point. 6 rounds to none in favor of Ricardo Sandoval. First round was pretty competitive, but since then, round by round, Sandoval has broken down Henderson. So right now, 60-54, 6-zip for Ricardo Sandoval.
Henderson has success boxing him, but as soon as it goes to the middle of the ring or to the corners, that's all El Nino's plan.
Still 2 fights to come, including, of course, our main event. Oscar Duarte was supposed to fight Regis Prograis, who suffered a shoulder injury. So instead, it's Miguel Medueno, who promises a firefight, and I tend to believe him.
Hands free. Let go. Push the head down. Stop box. Stop. Stop. Stop boxing. There you go.
Well, in his last fight, Sandoval got a 10th round stoppage, controversially so, against Acosta.
Hands free. Let go. Let go.
Let's see if he can get a late stoppage here tonight as well.
A good body shot there by Henderson. Ooh, changing punch, right hands again.
You think Sandoval's getting frustrated in this fight?
I could see a little frustration. You know, he's in there with a smart, cagey fighter in Henderson, and this is what I expected. You know, the first half of the fight was going to be tricky. Henderson was athletic enough, but I could see that he's picking the right shots. You know, and yeah, frustration is setting in on Sandoval because there's no jab. Sandoval's not jabbing his way in.
DFG, Chris, he's undefeated. What do you think his chances are of remaining that way tonight?
I think he's got a pretty good chance. He had a really good year last year. He's gotten some pretty good wins on his resume over the last couple of years, whereas Winifred Harris has been inactive as well. We're looking at another opponent that's potentially inactive. But DFG, I think, is one of the better young fighters in this Golden Boy stable. Top 5 ranked, 168 pounds. And he's been knocking guys out. So there's lots to like with Darius Fulcher.
And on the right, the man nicknamed Hot Boy Harris.
Yeah, Hot Boy Harris, I mean, complete night and day when it comes to their amateur pedigree. You had, you know, Fulgham was a Golden Glove champion, and then you have Harris here, who was only 21 fights under his belt. So he's going to have a tall task tonight with Darius Fulgham.
And Harris had a tough fight 2 fights earlier, back in 2022 against Sene Beko. Lost that fight by knockout. Only fought 1 time since.
Still some work to do here for Ricardo Sandoval. 3 rounds left.
I like those jabs that Sandoval came in with. He double jab to the chest of Henderson, and that's what you got to do whenever you're dealing with athletic fighters that are moving around. You know, you can't pin them down upstairs. You got to pop them right in the chest because the chest is not going to move.
And now Henderson trading back, having some good moments here.
Yeah, he did. He landed a nice right hand on Sandoval.
Can he win a round?
You know, whenever you're dealing with jittery fighters that are moving like this, you know, you got to treat them like a running back. You know, if you're a strong safety, they always tell you to aim for the numbers, aim at the chest of your opponent when they're juking and jiving. That's what you got to do with fighters as well.
Never want to aim for the head. You want to go for the body when people are slippery like this and they keep moving around and giving you different looks. You want to lead with the jab also, which Antonio was doing earlier in this round, using that double jab to the chest, double jab to the body, and then following up by the right hand that will eventually land soon.
That's what I was talking about earlier, Alex. Is like the one thing that Sandoval is lacking is a smart jab. A jab to break down opponents, to track down opponents, to set up the body shots.
Let's go.
It's a punch, Sergio, that
Let him go.
he's going to need as he graduates towards better opponents. One fight that's potentially out there for him, or maybe this year, is a fight with Yankel Rivera. There's been a lot of talk about a Golden Boy versus Matchroom 5-on-5. Yankel Rivera against Ricardo Sandoval could easily be made as part of that. Yankel Rivera is excellent on his feet, sharp with his accuracy. Like, you got to have a good jab if you're going up against somebody that moves with that type of skill.
Oh, yeah, he's on a
Good right, and a big leg from El Nino.
Momentarily stunned Henderson right now.
Yeah, Henderson's hurt.
Yeah, he's getting up close and personal with Mr. Personal right now.
Let go the hand. Saleto, let go. Let go the other hand, Saleto.
Yeah, I don't know if Sandoval realizes it, but Henderson's hurt.
I think this is right now.
Got that smile on his face.
Short right hand misses by
Hands free,
Nino.
gentlemen. Hands free. Let's go.
Yeah, because he telegraphed that long jab. You know, if you want to land that right hand, you gotta hide it better. And
Overhand right from Sandoval. And more smiling from Henderson, but I think that's more of a concerned smile.
I think that's a poker face smile. I think that hurt him.
Someone told him he just locked his keys in his car. One of those type of smiles.
10 seconds, stop at the bell. 10 seconds, stop at the bell.
Good round for El Nino.
Time.
Three-division world champion Shakur Stevenson defends his title at the last crescendo against rising prospect Floyd Schofield, live on DAZN. Buy it now, February the 22nd. Lexus, what odds do you give Floyd Schofield on pulling off the big upset?
I mean, it's boxing. You have two hands. Anyone's dangerous with two hands that can land that one shot. But it's going to be a very interesting to see how Schofield plays up to the experience of Shakur Stevenson.
And I'm of the opinion that win or lose, big deal with Floyd Schofield. 22 years old. People focused on, oh, he's not ready, whatever. You lose at 22 to a guy like Shakur Stevenson, a three-division world champion. One way or the other, you're coming out of that better. You're coming out of that a better fighter, win or lose.
Yeah, this isn't like Jared Anderson fighting Mark McCauley, who could literally smash trucks with his hands. If he loses to Shakur Stevenson, most likely it's going to be by decision. So it might be too much too soon for Floyd, but we shall see. Right now, it's just too much for Saleto Henderson. Sandoval has won pretty much every round.
Watch the head. Hands free, both of you. Let go, Saleto.
Well, if Henderson wants to somehow pull off a minor miracle here, he's going to have to go toe-to-toe with Sandoval and hope that he can land something big in between the punches.
Yeah, and Sandoval takes a good punch, you know, so I don't see that happening. But look, you got to give credit to Henderson. He's still looking for a shot. He's
putting himself in a position to maybe have a chance.
That's what I'm saying. He's putting some power behind these punches. He stopped boxing. Now he's looking to hurt Sandoval and stay a little bit more flat-footed in front of him. So he's here to win, man. Saleto Henderson is here to win, not just, compete.
He's here to win, but the more he opens up and exchanges with Sandoval, that's Sandoval's game to break him down and to land something big. Like in the previous rounds, he threw that over right hand.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, there's a big uppercut. Not sure if you could see it on the television screen. Had a great angle of it, but man, Sandoval rocked it.
You know what I loved about that? He took a step back before he threw it. Took one step back through the uppercut. Right after that, one step back through a right hand. He's got to try to find a way to create some separation here and not let Henderson tie him up.
Perfectly timed that uppercut.
Yeah, it's a beautiful shot when you step back and time your opponent, coming in like that with an uppercut. Normally it does a lot more damage, so we got to credit Henderson's chin for taking that shot.
Oh, quick little right hand for Sandoval. Minute 10 to go here in the ninth.
And Henderson takes a good punch.
Really good punch.
He's been hit with some good shots all over, the side of his head, his chin, to the body. Tough, resilient fighter is Henderson.
It's been a Nino all round 9 right now. Having a lot of success.
And there's that step again.
Uppercut.
Beautiful step to create, distance. And running Henderson to that same old shot.
Boy.
Good short right hand there, followed by a left from Sandoval.
Henderson got one in there. There's another one. You know, he's eaten 2 to land 1, is Henderson.
And now that step back's getting good to Sandoval. He's doing it every time Henderson comes in because the fresher legs are now with Sandoval. And Sandoval's so accustomed to coming forward and being aggressive that we normally don't see how agile he is and fleet-footed.
10 seconds, stop with the bell. 10 seconds, stop with the bell.
So 1 round to go here from California. Still to come, our main event, Duarte and Medueno. And there is the heavy-handed Mexican who Sergio is complete strangers with defense.
This man refuses to duck a punch, but he has the power to back that up. So, it's, you know, his offense is his defense. And, you know, born in Sinaloa, these Mexicans they're as tough as they come, man. So he could take a big shot upstairs, but Duarte's not going to stop punching. You know, so it's going to be mano a mano, and it's going to be a test of resilience and who takes a better shot.
You agree with that?
It's going to be a very energetic fight, and I can't wait for it.
No te me confíes y ponme la distancia fuerte. Es el último round con todo, ¿ok?
Don't get overconfident. There's the last round, right? You got to come with everything.
Hands free.
Some guys you just can't get out of there no matter what you do. And Henderson appears to be one of those guys.
Just like I told Chris Mannix before this fight.
Are we done with the victory lap?
Not yet.
Not until you take him to Applebee's.
We got 1 more minute of praise here.
Oh, good right hand from Henderson. That snapped the jaw of Sandoval. Some parting shots here from Mr. Personal. How would you grade El Nino tonight, Sergio?
It wasn't as impressive as a performance than usual. You know, the lack of jab. You know, he wasn't able to track down a slippery fighter like Henderson in 10 rounds. And I would say a solid B- or C+.
I would give him a B. I think he's breaking down of a savvy opponent who's moving around, not giving him much to deal with. And I think he's looking good so far.
No, he's looking good, but, you know, in the overall scheme of things, you know, look who he's in there with Henderson. You know, if he wants to actually fight, this is a top-ranked contender. He's going to have to get better and have to find a jab to track down and beat fighters like Henderson on the top level.
So that will do it. 10 rounds between Sandoval and Henderson. Well, Lex, who do you have winning this one?
I think it's a shutout performance by El Nino. Henderson did it. I think he did a lot. He showed some glimpses that he was a live dog in the fight, but I think overall the victory will go to El Nino.
Born rivals, Chris Eubank Jr., Connor Benn will fight finally April the 26th, and it'll happen at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium live right here on DAZN. You know, Chris, I know it's a tagline that DAZN is basically the home for boxing, but did you ever see our employer becoming this big, this ingrained and dominant in the sport?
No. Look, it's globally, you've got all the best fights, 90+% of the best fights here on DAZN. So, yeah, I think it's great to see.
Yep, Queensbury Promotions now full-time with DAZN to join Matchroom and Golden Boy, of course. So a big kumbaya moment in time in boxing, of course, spearheaded by Turki Al-Sheikh. But we are all loving where the sport is seemingly upward trending right now. As for Sandoval, this really wasn't a fight he wanted, Sergio. He wanted to stay busy, wanted to stay sharp. You think mission accomplished tonight?
Oh, absolutely. He got 10 rounds in. He was in there with a slippery opponent who was only once beaten. You know, he had to find ways to track down the tricky foot movement of Henderson, which he did. You know, he was able to hurt him at times. I just think the lack of jab, that's the only thing I would start, you know, going back to the drawing board, you know, learning how to adapt with tricky fighters and slippery fighters and breaking them down with jabs.
Let's see if Henderson won a round. Mark Prado has the scores.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for these two warriors going all 10 rounds here in the center of the ring in Anaheim. We now go to the judges' scorecards. Martha Tremblay scored this contest 98-92. Tiffany Clinton and Fernando Villarreal each had it 100-90. All three judges in favor of your winner by unanimous decision. From Rialto, California, Ricardo El Niño Sandoval.
Well, he wins, he moves on. And Chris, now the question is, who does he fight next?
I think if you're Golden Boy, you're looking up the rankings. You're seeing